My name is Patricia Reichgott O'Connor, and my partner here is
Sonia Irina Johansson, or
uh,
Sonia Johansson for those. Good morning.
Sonia Patricia Reichgott O'Connor.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sonia lives in the West, on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast, and we've been working together for a number of years on ourselves and as coaches with others. And we're putting together a master class talking about all the information, some of the information that we have put together through these last many years around the issue of food, which is really not about food. And what is it really about then? So we put together some questions that we want to ask. We decided to do a little podcast here and do one question at a time. So I hope you'll follow us and see if any of this hits you where it should hit you. Hopefully it will be helpful to you. So
And all
today,
you have to do is click the subscribe button, and you'll get the notifications when it's time for another one. And we hope to do, as we mentioned, we hope to do one of these every day. Hi, Patricia.
hey, Sonia.
So the question that we wanted to talk about today was, after several decades of working with people on food recovery, what patterns have you noticed in those who achieve lasting change?
Okay, so people, when we go on a food plan, Sonia, what what I see in working with people on a food plan, just tell me how to lose the weight because my issue is I have a weight issue. I just want to lose it. So I want to lose the weight and then I'll be happy. And it's not that simple. We have to look at what are the causes that we go to food. It's deep, it's a deep and rich and exciting journey. And looking at our journey requires a different attitude. It requires an attitude of, okay, I've had this thing on and off all these years. I know that's the way it worked for me. All these years, I was so together on everything else. The only thing I could put together was what I'm putting in my mouth. And it's the only thing I'm not putting together. So let me get on a food plan, follow the food plan, and stick to it. When I kind of flew up in my helicopter and looked down to see what the journey was about, I saw that keeping to a food plan was a step, of course, in the right direction. And then life comes along. Different things come up in the present that oh my God, deaths and sickness and scares and how
Relationship problems, issues with your kids, uncertainty,
sickness
self-esteem.
come up. How can you be the same every day, all day long? You have to learn how to handle. And how do you do that? Yeah. Oh, just tell me how to do it, and I'll do it. Just tell me how to handle those things. And what we have learned, it is a process. And what are some of the things that we have learned, Sonia, that you and I have put together in this course that we're ultimately going to be giving about these foundations? We have some foundations. Can you start talking about some of those foundations that are really important on the path as well as keeping to it, being on a food plan or trying to be on a food plan? What are some of those foundations?
Absolutely. One of the most interesting is just realizing that there's something else going on. We start to notice patterns, or we find a plan that really, really brings us some peace for a short amount of time. We find it's such a relief when we have that peace associated with a release of many of the cravings. But that nirvana only lasts a short time. And then the real life things start coming into play. We've maybe put ourselves in sort of a bubble where we've only eaten these things. We paid so close of attention to, like I've talked about before, being in this very rigid space, which doesn't work with life. Life is fluid, life is changing. So the foundations that we talk about, one of them that's really important is the actual awareness, just paying attention, just noticing what's really going on here. I was being so good and then all of a sudden I wasn't. There's a multitude of reasons for that. But the noticing and the awareness does a few things. One, it shines a bright light on the circumstances around what you're doing. It also, because we're already aware of it, we know, we watch ourselves, right? We watch ourselves go to the pantry and stuff our face, or we watch ourselves grab for that bag of something. We already know that there's something up, but there's a fear inside of us. Maybe there's a bunch of little ones talking in IFS language. Maybe there's a bunch of little ones that are really anxious about something. There are so many reasons why we might grab for some food. And that's a big piece of it, is to just notice. And you can feel overwhelmed. And that's why it helps to have resonance, which is another one. It helps to have resonance. A third one that we really, really feel so vital about is trusted community. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really important to be. I, for one, could not have done this alone. I could not have stayed on this, uh, kept my weight off for 9 years. Never before have I been able to do that consistently, without being on, having companionship and having other people who know how to listen and know how to be with us as we go through that community, community, community that we meet regularly with, and that we're in the conversation. We're in this conversation. It's not about I ate. It's about what's going on. What's going on that now I know we think I just like food. That's my issue is I like food. Yeah, there's things under it that we're squashing down that we don't want to look at, that we get an opportunity to look at. I couldn't have done it alone. I needed people that I could be open and honest with and talk about what was going on without anybody trying to fix me, just allowing me to be being heard. So,
Yeah, this whole process is really vital. The practice is the fourth cornerstone that we have, that we feel is so important. We do not change our neural pathways, which is what we're ultimately talking about, is making a shift in the way and the intensity and the volume with which we react to something. Because most of everything that our bodies perceive as an external crisis, where a lion or a tiger or a bear is coming around the corner, most of everything is an internal issue that we get to resolve. Something about us that is reacting, something about us that's getting an outsized emotion, something that is creating a circumstance where it's untenable. I can't handle it. I've got too many other things going on. I've got to do these. I'm going to eat because, and we don't even make that as a conscious decision. But that's a reaction that our brain has to this, is that conscious decision. So achieving lasting change requires healing those neural pathways and the deep rivets that we've created for ourselves around
really,
this solution. This is my solution right now. There's a whole lot of neurological stuff going on. Our brain is in crisis mode, which means our prefrontal cortex is not going to be working. We are reacting to what is our body is perceiving as an external threat. And so that's the main reason that we grab for food, because it's what we've always done. My goodness, I started when I was a baby. We've
yeah.
always done this. And
Well,
so changing that neural
well,
path.
no, that's we're open and up for looking at what's going on. We're not afraid. We might feel afraid, but we're not afraid. We look at what's going on underneath. So if you're interested in this kind of conversation of going deeper, because I've worked and worked and worked, I keep going off. I work. I what? Why do I keep going off? Why do I keep going off? If you're interested in that conversation, join us. We're having a master class this Saturday. What's that date?
Saturday, January 4th, 4 a.m. 4 a.m. That's my
Oh,
time.
yeah.
7 a.m. 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And
Right.
link will be at the in the show notes underneath this. Uh, we encourage you to sign up for it so that you can be sure to get the recording if you're not. There,
There's no cost for the master class. We are going to be talking about a course that's going to be coming up, but I think you can get something. Hopefully, that's our intention, that you get something to understand yourself a little bit more. So if you're interested in this conversation, listen to our questions that are going to be coming up these next few days. We're going to be talking about a question every day that's very common that people that we work with and ourselves have worked with. So come join us. Listen to what is this about, this going deeper.
that's right.
I've tried it light. Let's try it
The
deeper.
thing is, with the trusted community, you're not alone. And
Yeah.
that alarmed aloneness is a very scary place. And that's
Yeah.
how we feel an awful lot when
Yeah.
we're in the food or thinking about the food or wanting the food or needing the food. All of that is relating to something else that's underlying. And that's what we work on.
Yeah. Come join us.
All right.